All right, so this is a week by week process here. We're handing out grades to the quarterbacks in each of the NFL's divisions. We covered the AFC North in the previous episode, and this week we're going to assign grades to NFC East quarterbacks. We start from top to bottom. So naturally, we're going to start with the quarterback who's had the hottest start in the NFL this year, and that is Jalen Hurts. And it goes without saying that Jalen Hurts so far has an A+. I mean, he's just been dynamic. This has been like his pop year. It's been like Josh Allen 2020, Patrick Mahomes 2018, Lamar 2019. It's been, I mean, he could win if he remains on the pace that he's on right now. He could win MVP. I mean, he's had great decision making. His vision's amazing. He's that Philly leads the league in big plays over 40 yards. Philly has those consistently, even though the score wasn't high against Arizona. They still led the league in that, and that's all. You can attribute that to Jalen Hurts. One thing that I saw with Jalen Hurts, I thought the other day, it reminded me of Josh Allen 2020 for another reason, because what did Philly do? They added a star wide receiver. When you give a young quarterback a star wide receiver, it propels him to the next level. You give Josh Allen Stephon Diggs, he's going to gain confidence. You give Jalen Hurts A.J. Brown, he's going to gain confidence. You give him a star receiver and supportive coaching staff. You know, Josh Allen had Sean McDermott, and the Eagles have Nick Sirianni, and it's really just clicked. So Jalen Hurts, A+, goes without saying.
Well, see, I'm probably gonna go a little bit lower. I'm gonna go with a B, only because of the fact I like Jalen Hurts. But he also does have probably arguably one of the best rosters in the league right now. So obviously that's gonna impact, of course. But it's crazy. Fun stat is that in the NFC Beast, as they call it now, the quarterback with the most passing touchdowns is Carson Wentz with 10. Jalen Hurts has got 4. Now, obviously, Carson Wentz sucks. But, Jalen's one of those guys who I don't think he's going to pass you, and definitely not a Super Bowl, but pass you far. I mean, he runs a lot. I'm not taking any credit away from him, but he's not like a Justin Herbert, Josh Allen. He's going to throw it a lot, and it's going to impact the game that widely. So I'm going to give him a B because he still played very solid. He's not turning the ball over a lot, and they're still winning games. So I'm going to go with a B.
Before we move on to Austin, I want to address that NFC Beast statement.
Mm-hmm.
NFC Beast.
Go for it, dude.
You think that's a little bit overblown, to say the least?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it reminds me of last year, when people say the Chargers were going to win the AFC West. Yeah, we all know what happened. But nonetheless, Austin, go on.
All right, so I just went ahead and pulled up the schedule that the Philadelphia Eagles have had so far this year, just to let y'all know who they played and what their scores were. So Detroit, was their week 1 opponent. They won that game 38-35. Jalen Hurts passed for 243. I don't have their touchdowns on there, but I don't imagine it's very many considering he's only gotten 4. Week 2, he played Minnesota, and they won that game 24-7. Week 3 was against Washington, where they won 24-8. Week 4 was Jacksonville, 29-21, and Week 5, obviously this past weekend, was against the Cardinals, 20-17. So with that in mind, the high point of this year for Jalen Hurts was the 340 and 333 passing yards against Washington and Minnesota. I really can't give Jalen Hurts that high of a grade, if I'm being entirely honest. Probably give him somewhere around a B-, B, leaning more so towards the B-, only primarily because they really have had an easy schedule up to this point. Other than the Vikings, I wouldn't really say they played anybody of note. And even the Vikings don't have that good of a defense. It's mostly their offense is carrying them. So the fact that, he's, playing so well with, A.J. Brown, it's kind of being masked by the fact that he went up against Detroit, Washington, Jacksonville, and Arizona, and Minnesota. So I'm going to go ahead and give him a B- just because he really hasn't proved it against a good defensive team yet. He's really just played scrubs and did what he's supposed to do. So B-.
That's a fair assessment. Trey?
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not gonna be biased here, even though Jalen from the best college football program to ever live. But we talking about so far, right? We're gonna give him a grade so far. So I can't really hold his schedule against him. I'm gonna give him an A+. Same reason, it's just with the new receivers, you give him AJ Brown. He already had Devontae. Devontae's getting comfortable. They building that chemistry, and again, I can't put their schedule against him. It's their schedule. If they lose all 5, he gets an F. If he wins all 5, and most of the wins are because of him and his play. I'm not saying he's been excellent, but I'm saying he's been good enough. Timely throws, low on turnovers. So, and you're undefeated, so it's hard not to give him an A. I might not say A+. I just say A. He's doing great. So yeah, I stick with an A for Jalen. And depends on who they got next week. I haven't looked yet. I don't know who they got next week.
They got Dallas.
They got Dallas next week. So, and
Yeah,
with that,
this week is Dallas on Sunday night. So we're really going to see how well Jalen Hurts can perform.
we're gonna get to Cooper Rush in a second, but yeah, with Dallas, if I can't really throw no stats at them, but it's like with this next upcoming game, if he's been playing the way he's been playing the rest of the season, it's not a fluke. It's not a fluke, man. They really gonna have a chance.
And on the topic of those Alabama quarterbacks, but before I move on to Cooper Rush, there is this narrative before that Alabama quarterbacks don't really translate to the template of the NFL. But Tua was razor sharp to start the year, and Jalen Hurts is looking pretty good. So roll Tide. All I got to say about that.
Oh my God, he's a fucking cheerleader now. Good Lord.
Yep.
Brian, when I come
pom-poms, you always see,
when I come down there next week, I'm gonna have to hide those.
Symbol of dominance right here.
The pom-pom pushing it, B.
Let's go. My school spirit, damn it. I'm proud of my Tide. Yeah, I'm sick of these bullshit narratives of Alabama quarterbacks don't translate. Kiss my ass. Watch Jalen Hurts. Watch Tua. They're fucking dogs. Trey can attest. I just had to get that. I had to get that out of my system. But let's move on here. Cooper Rush. I'll make it real short. C. I give Cooper Rush a C. He's doing what he needs to do to get jobs done, to secure victories. He's been a fantastic game manager. Doesn't really perform too much of his means, perform too much of his job script, and he's not trying to do too much. He understands what he is. He understands his identity, and honestly, I think he has provided just as much value to the Cowboys organization as Dak has. And I could even argue that he's a better fit with the Cowboys' offensive scheme than Dak Prescott because look at their past quarterbacks, that they had Tony Romo. He was the guy that mainly sits in the pocket, delivers passes, wasn't too mobile. The Cowboys had drastic success with him. They had multiple 13-win seasons with Tony Romo. And Cooper Rush doing the same thing, not statistically mind-blowing, but doing what he has to do to get the job done. That defense is stellar, but he's nothing eye-popping. He's nothing stellar, so I won't put him up in the B or the A range. I'm just going to give him a flat, right in the middle, just C. Zeke, your thoughts?
Well, B, you had the same idea I did. C. I mean, obviously, listen, long-term, Dak is obviously going to bring them more value than Cooper Rush, right? Cooper Rush is doing his job as a backup. He's doing it well. The defense is playing lights out right now. Even though I'm not a big fan of Dallas' defense, they are playing well right now. Number 11, Micah Parsons, is a dog. So I got to give him that. But Cooper's doing what he needs to do. Handing off Tony Pollard is a beast. Things better than Zeke, so that definitely helps. But let's go see, man. He's doing his job as a backup. He's not wowing me. He's not doing anything crazy. And some people can't believe they beat the Rams on Sunday. That doesn't really mean much to me right now. The Rams, I'm sorry, but the Rams are not good right now. Can they maybe fix that? Maybe, but ultimately, Cooper Rush, I'm gonna give a C.
Well, I wonder if that's any kind of coincidence, C for Cooper.
Oh boy.
Yes. I had to drop that in there. Austin, what do you think?
So I got Cooper Rush's stats up right now. So I'm looking at him. He is 72 for 118 on the year, 61% completion percentage with 839 total yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. So I would honestly have to put him at a C- as a grade for Cooper Rush. I don't think he's anything special. I don't think he particularly reads the field that well. And they've really been carried by their running game, which has almost 600 yards on the year, and their defense. Their defense has been carrying them through all these games, hands down. Now, just to throw a little nugget in there, Dak Prescott, yeah, he would get a C, even if he was healthy. The man sucks, and it's not that big of an upgrade from Cooper Rush to Dak Prescott. They're both terrible. The Cowboys are terrible. They just need to give up on the whole America's team because ain't nobody thinks that they're America's team other than Cowboys fans. And they think
we know who the true America's team is. That team up
Yeah, the
north
Bengals.
with 6 Super Bowls. Yeah, it's America's team.
Yeah, okay.
goodness.
All right, Trey, up to you.
Oh, we lost him.
Yeah.
We lost him. Then he got shy. A little too
No,
shy.
oh, he's back.
There
back.
we go.
He has rejoined us.
Please forgive me. Okay, back where we was. Cooper Rush. I'm sorry, but
Well, I'm not the one who has to wear a Cam Newton Auburn jersey to Bryant Denny Stadium this November. So
Oh, dude, I can't wait.
I can't wait to get the picture of that. Is he back?
I'm so sorry. I keep getting phone calls, but Cooper Rush. Don't make me think about the Cam Newton jersey right now. I'm sorry.
War Eagle, baby.
Hey, we watch that shit.
Dumbest thing.
I don't want to hear any of that War Eagles shit.
Auburn
War
Tiger. They're the Auburn Tigers
Yeah,
and
man.
War Eagle. Anyway.
This person will not stop calling. But I'll give Cooper Rush a B- just because. I don't know why. Y'all not gonna like this. But Cooper Rush is giving me a Jimmy Garoppolo vibe. Listen to me, follow me. It's more like the talent may not necessarily be exactly where it needs to be, but he knows how to win. And he's undefeated as a starter, so he's doing just enough to win. You feel what I'm saying? So I cannot give him a C. It's like a C would be more like a slap in the face. But a B plus or A is like he's doing amazing. He's not. He's doing just enough, which for me, I have to give him a B.
I will agree with you that he definitely is very much more cautious than Dak, but I also think that comparing him to Jimmy G is I don't know if it's necessarily the right comparison because I think Jimmy G has a lot more experience and can see the field better than
Yeah,
Cooper
true.
Rush can, because Cooper Rush definitely like locks down on one guy and throws one guy rather than reading the field, seeing where everybody's coming from and seeing who's like the right play.
I wasn't necessarily saying he was him. I was saying I was getting that kind of vibe from him. See, Jimmy G sat up under Tom Brady for years.
That's fair.
And finally got his chance, and he just knew how to win. You know what I'm saying? But Cooper Rush give me more of like a do just enough. And it's working well so far for them. And when you win it, I can't give you a non-winning grade. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm going to go with just a B.
He's competent. I feel that. And this is one here that I know both Zeke and I have been waiting for. Mr. Daniel Jones up in New York. So I know there's a lot of Giants fans up in the Empire State that are fantasizing over Daniel Jones. He's a motherfucking dog. What a resilient, gritty win that was over the Green Bay Packers this Sunday. Only true warriors step back on the field with a cut hand. People, I've cut my hand making fucking apple crisp before. Give me a break.
You're a brave man to admit that.
It's Daniel Jones. the guy sucks. I mean, there's no other way to put it. Like there's times where he looks decent. Like he has a good arm. He makes some accurate throws sometimes, and he's good on his feet. I mean, he can run over 20 miles an hour. He's like a gazelle. I have to attribute him to that. But he's still not very trustworthy with the ball. Like you still have that interception issue. I mean, they put up 19 against Chicago. I mean, come on. You squeaked by Carolina? You squeaked by Carolina. Like, he's Giants fans are trying to make him out to be the next Eli Manning. He's all right, but most of the times, guy sucks. Zeke, what do you got to say?
So what's your grade for him, though?
Oh, my grade. Last year, I would have given him somewhere in the D range. I was so eager to say all of that. I know Giants fans are going to torch me. Come at me. Last year I would have given him in the D range, but I'm feeling generous today. If I've had a good day today, I'm feeling nice. C-.
All right, I'm gonna have to go C. I'm not gonna go any higher than that. There's nothing that he does that wows me. He's another one. Does his job, and yes, his legs are a big part of what he does. If he didn't have that, and you could say for a lot of guys, well, if he didn't have this, you didn't have that, he wouldn't be this, whatever. But if Daniel Jones didn't have his legs, he's useless. I don't trust that man throwing the ball, and I get it. The receiving core is not very good, and they complain that Kenny Galladay is not playing. Who cares? Even if Kenny Galladay was playing, guy sucks. Kadarius Toney, he ain't all that. He's really not. Daniel Jones is just not all that. And let me tell you, that team is all Saquon Barkley offensively. Okay, that's the fact. Daniel Jones is not out here slinging it and winning ball games. It's Saquon, and that's just the fact. Giants fans have to realize that, but they're freaking delusional. So I'm gonna go C for shitty Daniel Jones.
I just got one question for you. What would you give a quarterback a grade when they threw for 71 yards against probably the worst team in the NFL? I give him an F. And you know what? I'll do him a favor and I'll upgrade it to F+ because he's basically a running back. Because that's what he is. He's a running back. He's a big running back that just happens to throw the ball. He's a worse Taysom Hill. He is a terrible Taysom Hill. And, when you go into Chicago, who everybody was in agreement was probably going to be the worst, if not the second or third worst team in the NFL, you put 20 points up on them and you throw for 71 yards against that team when their only player of note is Justin Fields. That's terrible. F. I can't go any higher than an F. You're in the F range. You're just terrible. You suck. The Brian Dable experiment is succeeding because he's a good offensive coach, an offensive mind, so he's winning with the team. But it's not because of Daniel Jones. As a matter of fact, they're probably being held back by the man.
Probably.
That's a big statement, though. But
I really think that if they had somebody more dynamic, they'd really be competing with Philly. Like I would take them seriously as like a legit threat to Philly.
100%.
Well, Daddy Dimes, I'm gonna give Daniel Jones a C+, just because. Think awesome. But the first few weeks of football, Daniel Jones was below average. But this past week was nothing less than an A performance. I'm not saying it was fucking mind blowing, but 21 from 27, 2+, no picks. Saquon did do his thing, but it's against the Packers though. So it's like I give that performance from this week an A. So it brought his B+ up to a C+. So it's like I can't go no higher than C+. Though. I'm with you, like 71 yards on. You feel what I'm saying? One of the worst.
Trey, if you ever teach a college class like a master's class.
Yeah.
Please let
Please
me
be-
enroll.
Please be my teacher.
You grade so easy. Please be my professor. On my hands and knees begging.
Listen though. Hey, come on, Brian. This past week. So what? Just this past week alone, what grade would you give him against the Packers?
For this past week's performance, I would give him a B, because I think that he didn't turn the ball over. He did what he needed to do. It was probably his best performance of the year. But just like in the NFC divisional this year, the Packers froze in the second half. That's becoming a theme for Aaron Rodgers. And that's another day.
Giants.
What's that?
They're saying the Packers lost that game and the Giants didn't win that game.
I mean,
the Giants defense won that game.
It was a little bit of both.
Yeah, the Giants were diligent in the efforts of coming back, and they secured the winners. Great coaching, they capitalized on opportunities, but I mean, the Packers can't play a complete football game, and that's something else that we're going to talk about in a future episode too. But for what I saw from Daniel Jones this weekend, I'd give him a B. But compiling the rest of the games this year, I mean, there's a lot of D-, C-, C+.
Okay.
I didn't see anything above a C.
Okay.
Or C+ in any of the other games this year.
On this, the commies coach, Coach Ron, when they asked him what separated them versus everybody else in the division, I'm pretty sure you saw that clip. What did he say?
He said quarterback.
He said
and let's unpack him right now. Let's talk some Carson Wentz right now. So here's my grade for Mr. Wentz. D.
B as in boy or D as in dog?
D as in dog. He's
dog.
not a motherfucking dog. He's got a D for dog.
Yes,
I mean, just like Daniel Jones, I'm going to say it. Guy sucks. And this comes from somebody that was once a Carson Wentz supporter. I mean, I like his tangibles. I like his intangibles. I had a Carson Wentz Colts shirt last year, but he pissed me off so much in that last game against the Jacksonville Jaguars where he froze up and couldn't produce with a division championship on the line, and I haven't regained my trust yet. He gets a lot of passing yards every weekend, but a lot of those yards are garbage yards, kind of like Jared Goff last year or Matt Ryan every year. A lot of garbage yards. I mean, he's been an interception machine. The interception he threw on the goal line against the Titans this weekend. Titans was just pathetic. So, he's from a production standpoint with yards, he's good, but just too many limitations with turnovers. D. Zeke, what do you got to say?
Yeah, I'm gonna say D+. You got the yards. Yards is there. A lot of it is garbage. 10 touchdowns. Yeah, that's cool, but you're really winning games. You're really beating teams, which is unfortunate because that receiving core, Washington, man, is good. They got a lot of good receivers down there. Dodson's good. Scary Terry's a beast. Logan Thomas, the tight end, ain't bad. And yet, you was thinking the same thing with Carson last year when he was in Indy. Like, yeah, okay, his receiving core wasn't great, but great offensive line, really good running game, and he still just wasn't getting it done. Carson has shown he's just not that guy. His best years are definitely behind him. So yeah, D+. Like Ron said, man, it's the quarterback, and Carson Wentz. I mean, if you still want to call him a quarterback, he's out there, but guy sucks.
Yeah, I agree. 10 touchdowns to 6 interceptions on the year with 20 sacks taken. One, his team's not doing him any favors. His offensive line is horrible. Averaging 4 sacks a game is just terrible coming from a Bengals fans. I know that pain. See last year with the Bengals taking 70 on the year, but you got to do better than that. And with the 6 picks through 5 games, that's a lot of points that you're giving to your opponents that really, really hurt your team. So I like Carson Wentz as a person. I think he's cool, but there's just something wrong with him ever since that Super Bowl. Like, he has just been on a spiral downward, and it sucks to see, but he doesn't have that safety blanket like he used to have in Philadelphia. He didn't have it so much in. Well, he did. He had it in Jonathan Taylor last year, and he definitely doesn't have it in Washington. So that kind of hurts him because he really has one favorite target, and that's about it. Since he doesn't have it there, he's sucking. He's looking terrible. I give him a D minus. It's hard. I kind of want to give him an F, but 10 touchdowns. I mean, he's relatively productive from a statistics standpoint, especially considering he's taken 20 sacks this year. But still, D minus F plus, somewhere around in that range for me.
Gotcha. Well, I'm not going. Well, I'm gonna go with D plus too with Zeke, just because, like you said, he's been relatively productive with the 10 touchdowns and taking the 20 sacks. But with you bringing that example up with Joey B took 70 last year and still took him to the Super Bowl. So it's like that's really not an excuse for the quarterback to play so horribly. Like with your offensive line or with your running game, you got some studs at receiver. It's like you can do enough, do your part in the offense and then being, turning into wins and being productive. So yeah, I got to stick with a D plus. Can't go too much higher for Carson. Yeah, I feel like he's on a spiral right now. I hope he turns it around. With coach, when your head coach goes to the media and tell you the reason y'all not winning, I don't know what might have went through his head this past week. We might see a different Carson next week. Who knows? I hope so. Because, I don't ever want to see nobody, but with your head coach calling you out in front of the world, and you got to look in the mirror and say, well, I'm the reason the football team is losing. I just feel like, I don't know. I'm expecting a big game from Carson, though, but I'm still going to stick with a D plus.